What's up guys, it's Average Joel, making average content for the average viewer, and today I want to talk to you about the best 3 guns in Warzone right now. Now, the thing is, over the past few months, one gun has absolutely dominated the whole Warzone experience, and it's not going to come as a surprise to anyone that is the Grau 5.56. However, recently there has been a shift in the meta, a change, and something is different in Warzone, and that is that a couple of other guns have risen to the top. Now this is in part due to the nerf that the Grau took. It now takes a few more shots to kill and it is not as good at range, but in my opinion, I don't think this is the only reason that the meta has shifted in this way, and I will explain why. Now, the first gun that I want to talk about is a gun that I've recently made a video on, and that is the Bruen Mark 9. Now, you will see a running theme with these guns that I'm going to talk to you about today. They are going to have their pros, but they're also going to have their cons. I know, it's crazy. It's almost like Activision and Infinity Ward are making a fairly balanced game. Crazy. Now let's just get this out of the way. Yes, the Bruen Mark 9 is a light machine gun, and famously, light machine guns in Call of Duty, especially Modern Warfare, are extremely sluggish and slow. But the major pro and the best thing that I believe is about the Mark 9 Bruen is the fact that you can change the mag to a 60 round mag. This increases your movement speed, increases your reload speed, increases your sprint to fire speed, and increases your ADS speed, which all round makes this gun feel a lot snappier and more like an assault rifle than the aforementioned light machine gun. As well as this, there are some other things that make the Bruen really shine, in my opinion. For one, because it's an LMG, it means that you get an extra fast fire rate. This means that you are able to send a lot more bullets downrange quickly, which means if you don't have the best aim, for example, then it will be a lot more forgiving for you. On top of this, because it is an LMG, it punches a lot harder than many of the assault rifles, meaning that with these two things combined, you can really do some damage to your enemies and put them down quickly. Now, what about the cons? Let's be honest, the biggest con to the Bruen Mark 9 is that I personally firmly believe it is a pay-to-win weapon. Now what do I mean by this? I made a whole video about how I think that there are elements in Warzone that are pay to win, and this is one of them. The fact of the matter is, if you want to unlock the Mark 9 Bruen, you have to kill 3 enemies near smoke in 15 different games. If you can load up into a game of Shipment or Shoot House, then this isn't going to be a problem, and for most people, it's probably going to be quite simple to unlock. However, if you are limited to only playing Warzone or Plunder, this is going to make your time dramatically harder. Like I said, I've gone over this in great detail in another video, but I do think that it's worth mentioning as this is a massive con, and some of you guys who are free-to-play players just aren't going to have the time to grind for this weapon. And believe me, it really is a grind. So let's talk about the next weapon. The next weapon is probably the dark horse of Season 4, the gun that everyone is talking about. This gun isn't just an ugly duckling, this is like the ugly duckling if it had got run over and then rolled into some petrol and then got set on fire before getting eaten by a fox and then shat out back on the road. That's how much of an ugly duckling the FAL was, and that's right. I am talking about the FAL. The FAL has had such a major buff that it is unrecognizable. I mean, talk about a glow up. This gun can now kill, in Warzone, a fully armored player in 3 shots, providing that you hit them in the chest and the head at least once. This is absolutely insane, and if you have the trigger finger to boot, it means you can seriously put people down and send them to the gulag quicker than he can shout, "Oh, this guy's got a modded controller." Seriously, the FAL absolutely slaps. I believe that the main positives for this gun are that at close range, it is absolutely devastating. Forget about the MP5, forget about the MP7, the FAL is now the best up close and personal weapon in Warzone. However, that's not to say that it's all fine and dandy with the FAL, as there are some major drawbacks. Historically, single-shot assault rifles have been used for longer range engagements, and for me personally, that is what I assumed the FAL was made for. When I first picked up the game, I thought that I should be tackling gunshots that are way in the distance and tap firing them and making the gun as accurate as possible. However, you will soon come to notice that the best way to play the FAL is to use it up close and personal. That means by taking the FAL, you are effectively using it as an SMG, however, it does not use SMG ammo, obviously, which means if you want to use it in tandem with, say, a Bruen or an M4, you are going to find yourself lacking the ammunition. On top of this, there is one other major downside that I believe, and that is if you cannot reach the high fire rate, then this gun is not going to be as good as what everyone is saying, and I think a lot of people are finding this out. A lot of my friends that I've told about the FAL just can't seem to get on with it, and that is because they cannot get to that max fire rate. If you can't get to the max fire rate, it's fine, but it does mean that that time to kill is going to be dramatically slower, meaning that this gun is no longer the beast that I'm making it out to be. Now you can use the 3-round burst mod, but if I'm being completely honest with you, do not do this. This makes the rate of fire slower than it is anyway, and it's just not going to be that great. So if you want to use the FAL, make sure you are using it up close and that you can hit that max fire rate, otherwise you're probably better off going for a fully automatic weapon. Now lastly, in this little list of the best primary weapons in Warzone right now, I want to give a special mention to a gun that has been there from the beginning. A gun that has been with us through thick and thin and has never quite got the praise that I think that it deserves. And that, of course, is the Kilo 141. This is the gun that most people pick up when they first get the game. When I first got Modern Warfare back in November, I exclusively used the Kilo for the first week or so, and I really enjoyed it, until I unlocked some other weapons and more exciting weapons, and to be honest, I was just trying to learn how to rush in a game that is predominantly run by campers, so I was using an SMG and failing and nearly crying. But that's besides the point. The Kilo 141 is an absolute machine of a gun. This gun excels at medium to long range as it has very little recoil. The main thing about the Kilo though is that the recoil is in fact a little bit different to most of the weapons in the game. Most weapons that you fire in Call of Duty will go up and to the right. This is what we call a predictable recoil pattern, and if most of you guys have been using the Growl, the M4, the MP5 or something like that, your muscle memory will be used to pulling down and to the left because most guns' recoil patterns go up and to the right. The thing is with the Kilo is it has very little recoil, but the recoil that it does have does slightly go to the left. What this means for you is that it might feel quite awkward and quite strange to use at first. Now this is something that you can get over, and if you do put the time into learning the Kilo and getting used to that recoil pattern, you will have a really good time with it, but it is something to bear in mind. Now for the other con, I would say that the Kilo is very sluggish and quite heavy in comparison to other guns in the game. For example, in the heyday of the Growl, you could slap on the Archangel barrel, the monolithic suppressor, a sight, anything you want, and it will still feel fairly responsive. However, once you start stacking these larger, longer and heavier attachments on the Kilo, you will start to notice a significant slowdown, so do bear that in mind. With all that being said though, I do really want to stress that the Kilo 141 is an amazing weapon. In my experience, you can absolutely beam down people at quite significant ranges with next to no recoil. Think of the recoil pattern of the M13 and then add bullets that don't actually feel like BB guns. That is what the Kilo 141 is, so if you haven't already, I highly suggest setting up a class and using it right now. So there we have it, my short little list for the best 3 guns in Warzone right now. Please bear in mind that this is my opinion, and if your opinion does differ somewhat, then please leave a comment down below telling me what your favourite 3 guns in Warzone are. Now, for those of you who have watched these little videos for a while, you'll know that I love to see who sticks around until the end. So if you're still here, I'd like you to let me know by answering this question down below. What platform do you guys play on? Now look, I don't want to start a really toxic console war down in the comments. I'm just really interested to know. Me, myself, have always played on an Xbox. However, because I'm trying to concentrate more on this YouTube thing, I feel like I need a higher end PC to be able to keep up with all my editing demands. And I figured I might as well just go the whole hog and swap to gaming on PC, as it will give me a lot better options for games and things I can do in the future. But yeah, just let me know. And also, if you guys have come from console to PC, I'd love you to let me know your thoughts in the comments and we'll have a really good discussion. Anyway, that's it from me today. I'm Average Joel. Peace.